Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 29th of August. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. As ever, I'm going to give you the major themes to look out for, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through till Pisces. This week begins with the Sun continuing its journey in the sign of Virgo. Virgo energy asks us to be more discriminating, to focus on the details of our situation. If we can make some small adjustments, that can add up to something more substantive. Anything to do with our physical health, the organisation of our situation, or even our jobs and pets, believe it or not, with the 6th house, can take on extra significance. But of course, the new moon, which occurred last week, is still reverberating around the heavens, and that's squared up with Mars, and that square with Mars does continue into this week. Now this can add an extra dimension to this energy of Virgo, because Mars is in the sign of Gemini, which gives it a passionate desire to express ideas or to be more physically active, and the two together can create a kind of frenetic extra energy, and that makes it difficult to really focus ourselves and get grounded. So the key this week is really deciding on what the priorities are, narrowing our focus, and really putting our energy into achieving the significant things that we need to do first. But it's possible that someone could be a bit picky or irritable or overcritical, and we just need to be conscious of that. Now, it's the case that Mars actually forges a brilliant angle to Mercury, now in the sign of Libra, urging us to try to listen more attentively to others, be a bit more detached if people see things in a different way. But this angle to Mars suggests that if there are people that we can collaborate with and work on those details with, but we have some shared ideals that we can, or interests that we can collaborate around, then progress can be made. Mercury is also opposite Jupiter, which is quite a buoyant influence, but it's also important to not promise anything we can't realistically deliver, because Mercury is the communication, Jupiter's the optimism. Now, as we draw to the end of the week, there is on Saturday a quarter moon, and this quarter moon occurs in the sign of Sagittarius, which of course very much enjoys freedom, space and independence. So that need to focus on those responsibilities and obligations that comes from the Sun in Virgo is challenged somewhat. So even more reason not to readily agree or volunteer to anything if we don't have the available free time. Also, the square between Saturn and Uranus, which dominated year 2021 and the start of this year, they are inching closer together. They're going to be within 1 degree between the 2nd and also the 12th of October, but just be aware that the frustration that this particular aspect generated last year is likely to come much more to the fore. Remember, Saturn's about the structure but also the limitation. Uranus is about the truth but also the restlessness and rebelliousness, and therefore they are very conflicting energies. Now, please stay with me for your in-depth zodiac sign forecast, but if you would like to understand what year 2023 will hold for you and get the rest of 2022 free, plus your life roadmap, your character analysis, which can guide your moves, and get 30% off, please see my link beneath this video. And if you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you've already done so, thank you so much for your continued support. So Taurus, your week commencing the 29th of August forecast sees the sun continuing its journey in the exuberant 5th house. It's going to be joined by your ruler Venus next Monday, and that's something to really look forwards to. But on Monday of this week, Venus is crunched by the square between Uranus in your sign and Saturn in your 10th house of success. If you're finding that the work situation for you at the moment is proving rather onerous, you may want to withdraw into the comfort of your home and continue to make some decorative improvements, or just have some tranquil moments in nature with Venus's support. But as I say, the sun is for you in a very exuberant zone, but it's squaring with Mars, the planet of passion and desire, in your sector of everyday resources. Now, of course, we're facing some very significant financial headwinds, but this aspect could make you quite spontaneously want to splash out on something or someone, because in the moment it could make you somewhat more impetuous with your resources. But if you are wanting to explore a new way of working, because obviously Saturn has been very demanding of you over the last couple of years, then the role of Mercury in your 6th house is brilliant to think over the different opportunities you may have, and its link with Mars could see you coming up with some imaginative schemes. It also ties in with Jupiter in your 12th house. Now, Jupiter, of course, is going to be arriving in your sign on the 16th of May next year. Really exciting. But through till then, important to try to understand perhaps past skills and experiences and knowledge, or even connections that may be repurposed in some way to bring them up to date so that you can use them in the here and now. So I think those Mercury influences with Jupiter and Mars can actually be very positive for you. Now, later this week, we do have on Saturday a quarter moon. This quarter moon occurs across the 5th and 8th houses. If you're in a romantic relationship where you feel a partner tends to be a little bit under your feet, maybe there is a sense in a more seriously difficult way that your values or their values aren't quite meshing, Mars in the 2nd house, but the quarter moon in the 8th house could mean if there's any jealousy or possessiveness with Uranus in your sign, this is the kind of stuff you're really pushing back against at the present time. And after all, the sun in the 5th house is very much about showing where we can be very individualistic, very upbeat, very bubbly, but also very affectionate. And you're going to want to find an outlet for that where you feel really appreciated.